New Zealand. They've only gone and done it again, Pezza. Our Anzac brethren.
Of course, yeah.
They've done it again, New Zealand. They most definitely are ahead on the boundary count in this game. They've chased down England's 282 for 9 in 36.2 overs, one down. What the fuck? 82 balls to spare, Pezza, by the biggest of margins.
Yeah, that's it.
Whoa!
The skeleton sizzle.
The skeletons. What are your secrets, New Zealand? They've only had 12 players available in the game. Ish Sodhi not selected. How is he feeling? Southey unavailable. Lockie Ferguson unavailable. Kane unavailable. All out with injuries. No matter. 14 fucking overs left, Pezza. I did not see that coming. New Zealand now favourites to win the World Cup?
Oh, semi-finalists locked in. The rest of the tournament playing for 3 spots.
Yeah, that's that's right.
Other angles. Does Kane get back in the side?
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Kane
Where?
Get back in the side?
Kane, you're out.
A star is born.
Oh, my God.
I'm not talking about Bradley Cooper speaking French. In case you're worried.
New Zealand,
about that.
oh, my
the
God.
Kiwis told you they were going to do it. They do it every time. Oh, they love belting teams in the first game.
And yet I'm still
of the
surprised.
tournament. Yeah, I don't think they'll make it. 6th.
Yeah, not for
These
me.
blokes.
I don't really see how they make it, but unbelievable.
Yeah. Got to hand it to them. Got to hand it to them.
You are watching TGC's World Cup Morning Glory, and indeed, good morning, New Zealand. If you're new to TGC, click subscribe. If you're enjoying this video, plenty more to come throughout this entire World Cup. This is just the beginning, so click subscribe. There's videos coming out just about every day, including our 10 preview shows have already come out for the World Cup. There's Wasted Saturdays, and of course, our main podcasts every week available on Spotify, YouTube podcasts, Apple podcasts, et al. Also, TGC to that end is brought to you by cricket.com. You can download the cricket.com app right now for all the stats and analysis. As we already know, it's user-friendly. It's been revamped. You can also get behind cricket.com, going to YouTube and typing in cricket.com/TV in the search bar there. Everything you've ever needed on cricket.com's YouTube channel. The verse of the 3 things today, Pez. What about Devon Conway?
Yeah, man.
What about Sachin Ravindra?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. They put on 273 for the second wicket. That's the 4th highest ever in ODI World Cups. If you are counting, Chris Gale and Marlon Samuels have the record. They scored another 100 against Zimbabwe in 2015, 373. Devon Conway, 152.
Yeah, man.
Red off 121. That was the fastest ever ODI World Cup 100 for New Zealand. 83 balls. The previous best was 88 balls by Guptill in Bangladesh in 2015 at Alexander Hamilton there. That record lasted 10 minutes. Sachin Ravindra, player of the match, 123. Red off 96. Also took 1 for 76. 11 fours, 5 sixes. Fastest ever ODI World Cup 100 for New Zealand, beating the great record by Devon Conway.
Oh, here goes.
10 minutes earlier, 82 balls. He also scored 97 in the warm-up game against Pakistan. He's the youngest ODI World Cup century maker for New Zealand, 23, beating Nathan Astl's 100 in the same city against the same opponents in 1996. What a fucking performance from these two coats.
What a fucking performance from you. That was a stat-gasm.
The skeletons.
You want a cigarette now?
These goddamn skeletons.
Stat-gasm cigarette.
Oh,
yeah,
my
man.
God.
The skeletons have done it again. What class from Ravindra.
Yeah.
Were you seeing that? He barely commanded a spot in the team. I think but for Lockie Ferguson, Nigel, Sachin Ravindra wouldn't have played. Comes in number 3, and I thought it was a very 2023 game of cricket. England were but 1 or 2 scratchy dismissals away from kind of scrunting their way to 350. They didn't. Yeah. I mean, they were poor and rusty in this game, England. They will be back. People are already calling for their heads, and so they should, because this is the drama of the World Cup.
Stokes should be captain.
Butler discarded.
Didn't Josh Butler literally win a World Cup in Australia 12 months ago?
Yeah, David Milan's hit 100 in every game last 4 years.
60,
Pack him.
Gotta go.
Yep. Harry Brook, don't think he's ready. That's the drama that we're after. England could have made those runs. They didn't. Looked to be a pretty good deck.
Yeah.
But what I found extremely 2023 and almost frightening about this
What'd you find,
was that Sachin Ravindra comes in at number 3.
Yes.
It's 1 for 10. It's against the defending champions. With respect to him, he has no real pedigree in the game. It's a World Cup opener.
Yeah.
Fans are filing into the stadium, finally. We'll get to that in a very fair way.
Yeah.
And none of that pressure in the World Cup bothers him at all. He just goes about boshing England right from the off.
Incredible.
Like with, you'd say, some pretty severe pressure on him.
Yeah.
But that's the game in 2023.
Yeah.
If you can come in and just get your game underway in pretty favourable batting conditions, you can't be stopped. And neither of them could be. There's a discussion later on about, you know, the value of winning the toss, perhaps. But we're talking about a sample size of 1 so far.
I'd never seen Ravindra play before.
Neither.
I know he had played in at least one of, if not a couple of the games in the England series, which England just fucking pumps New Zealand 4-1. I think it was 4-1. I know New Zealand won the first game of that series, but I think England won it 4-1 in the end. Or 3-1 maybe. I think he played there, but I've never seen him play before. This was so impressive, just from the flair.
Yeah, class, man. The rhythms of the bat pathways.
Yeah,
the flick of the wrist. Yeah, it was hot stuff.
Oh, it was hot stuff indeed, and also a good-looking lad.
Yeah.
Yeah, a good-looking
the
lad.
entire we'll get on to aesthetics later of the World Cup, but it's a very nice aesthetic.
It is a nice aesthetic.
And the peas and carrots, apples and oranges of Devon Conway and Sachin Ravindra, like stylistically contrasted, but somehow making a beautiful whole.
Right.
For us to enjoy.
What I wouldn't give for a beautiful hole for us to enjoy. Mate, Devon Conway, he is fucking so good, man.
Best top water bat in the world.
What about the on-drive, straight drive off Mark Wood down the ground? I mean, that for me, I know it's a big call, is the shot of the tournament after one game.
Yep.
But it's just like he cover drove Wokes early beautifully. He swivel pulls Mark Wood. He slog sweeps Adil Rashid. I mean, it's just... he is so impressive. He's got a great record. He won the IPL with Chennai opening the batting, so, you know, can do it in India, which is fortunate because that's where this tournament is going to be played for the most part. So it's another complete performance for him. It's his first ODI World Cup game. I think, like, those kind of stats, it's like they play so much cricket, it doesn't really mean as much as what it did sort of 10 years ago or whatever. But still, it's a massive game in the context of, like, everyone's going to beat everyone, you would figure out. But we'll come to, you know, what this all means later, because we are searching for meaning constantly. But wow. The whole thing was fucking
batter.
wow. He scored 152 red and he's not player of the match.
Mate, and what I like about him is, like, he has a style. He's a classicist in the way that he bats, and yet he is extremely effective and among world-class players in every single format. So he's not a...
That is different to Klassen, isn't it?
That is a different human from a different country,
guy,
or is it? Yeah, and... I'm like, I don't know what else to say about Devon Conway. I feel like a number of players in this tournament are guys that we've seen in previous tournaments that might be trying to sort of make up for something they failed at the past, or something like that. Whereas Devon Conway is the man for now. I mean, the guy is just at his peak.
Yeah,
he would be among the top 3 bats in every format.
For me, he's a player to watch in this World Cup.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's talk about then the second thing, Pez, and England's batting in England. All starts, no glory. I know that for me, like this innings was so much about Mitch Santner, who was just outstanding. 2
Another
for 37.
CSK boy, hey?
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, great limbs. Big must be a big finger. It's got to be a big mitt.
Yeah, and it's a disproportionately sized bicep as well. So everything's going for him.
2 for 37 off 10. Wickets of Bairstow early, then Wokes right at the end. I think of his last ball of his spell. 0 boundaries conceded in 10 overs, Pez. The last person to do that was Kuldeep Yadav in 2018.
Wow. In a game where, like, his team chased it in 37 overs or whatever the fuck it was. It's incredible.
It was so incredible.
Against England, who just pedal to the floor.
I know. I mean, there's got so many guys who can score 100 or 50 balls in games, and I'm sure they'll be fine. But Santner, like, his skill is that he's not a mystery bowler. There's no dooster, there's no wrong. He's obviously a finger spinner, but like every ball is a different pace. Like you were never settled as a batter.
Yeah.
No change of action. One ball is 97, next ball is 77, like the Ks an hour. Like the range is incredible. Puts it on a dime. It was so impressive because it was flat as well. There were no demons.
No.
280 way unders for England. Everyone made double figures for England. That's the first time that's ever happened, I think, in an ODI. In fact, no one in the entire game scored double figures because Will Young got a globe and everyone else got hundreds. So there you go if you like that sort of Rubik Cube gear. But Santner, super impressive for England. Some really odd shots. No, I want to say odd. Weak. They were weak shots.
Yeah, I thought England's dismissals ranged from like the bad to the innocuous, and just as they were getting a partnership underway, somebody would be out. Look,
New Zealand had 4 part-timers bowling.
Yeah, and Glenn Phillips made 2 massive inroads, and the bloke is expected to bowl only a couple of overs.
Glenn Phillips bowled 3 overs, 2 for 17, picks up Root and who else did he get? Root and Moeen Ali.
Yeah.
Moeen Ali pulling a half volley.
I mean, Bairstow hits the second ball for 6. New Zealand, England are none for 12 after an over. You're like, oh, here we go. It's on here. And just balls are just getting past mid-off for 4, like just absolutely racing to the boundary. Yep. And again, New Zealand just pulled it back. They just always seem to be able to do this. But yeah, England's best. Look, people are going to start criticising them immediately because this is a thumping. We're going to get onto that in a second. But I just can't get past the idea that like it is October 6th and the finals November 19th. But like you want to grow into the tournament. I thought England showed enough in the game as well. Even that they batted badly to 280. I just feel like a little bit of polish, a little bit more time in the nets. That's 350. Then there's some scoreboard pressure. It's a very, very, very good toss to win. It turned out. So there will be calls for heads, and there should be because we're goldfish and we need that drama. As goldfish do.
Goldfish calling out for drama.
That's right.
Where's the drama?
That's right. I got 2 goldfish at home, always calling for it. It's a disgrace.
Completely agree. England will be fine. Too much quality in the batting.
Yeah.
I even found when Root and Butler were together. And I was just thinking, like, oh no, they can still make this pass.
They do it so easy.
320, 350, like it's still on. They've got, and then Livingston after that. Curran can score runs, and Woke's batting at 9. I think it's well documented. Adil Rashid has scored some runs at a certain level. In fact, he's scored hundreds. But like, there's just so many guys that can do it. And okay, in this occasion, it hasn't gone off. I know that been pulled off. Sorry, what's his name? Owen Morgan. Owen Morgan was saying afterwards he felt like the team didn't go hard enough. They didn't put enough pressure back onto the bowlers. I can sort of see that because it was sort of limp in the end, wasn't it? A little bit. But you just look at the power that they've got. And Joe Root again last night was just outstanding. And if you get 1 or 2 guys who go around him, because he bats in such a low risk manner. And he's hit him at 90 here today, 77 off 86. But you can just see how they consistently can make 400.
Totally.
They've been absolutely fucking pumped in this game.
It's the worst game they'll play this tournament, I reckon.
Yeah,
I mean,
it feels like it.
They don't look to me like a team that's on the brink of the wheels falling off, or that they might be over the hill. To me, like they're not going to be as good a side as they were 4 years ago. I think everything was laddering up to that for them. But I still feel like you can look at their structure and see how it works, and see that like over the course of a 9-game tournament before you get the semis, they'll probably find their way there. And they're missing Ben Stokes, by the way, as well. So I would.
And last World Cup they were dreadful in the group stages, and they made it. And all you got to do is just get to that final 4, and you figure it out.
You don't want to meet him in a semi. Basically, I wouldn't want to.
Well, to that end, Pez, third thing, is it time to panic? I say yes. England's next 4 games are Bangladesh in Dharamshala, Afghanistan in Delhi, South Africa in Mumbai, and Sri Lanka in Bangalore. Then their last 4 games to finish are India, Australia, Netherlands, Pakistan to finish. So a hard sort of 4 games, but the next 4 games, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, South Africa, Sri Lanka in the next games. Like that looks like, I mean, they're all winnable games to that end.
Yeah, but call in the shit tips. Call in the shit. This is when the BCCI goes to work, and so they should. I'm with you. I'm serious. I'm serious. Let's call in the shit tips now. Yep. I don't want England anywhere near the semis, frankly.
Me neither.
It's a compliment to them.
Yeah.
Call in the shit tip. Versus Bangladesh up in Dharamshala there. Shakib Al Hassan, couple of spinners, Mahidi. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's get it done.
Tommy McBall somehow in the side.
Yeah. Lytton Das fucking go. Yeah, Tommy McBall's back. All of a sudden, Jimmy Jack's fine. He's made up with Shakib.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that actually they have done, it actually has fucked their net run rate, which actually is hard to get back.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a thumping. But so if it comes down to it in the last, if two teams finish on 5 or 6 wins, you would say this does put them behind the 8 ball. But you know what? I think if there's a couple of teams in this tournament that can win several games in a row, England is most definitely one of them. To that end, Pez, New Zealand, their next 3 games, interesting. Netherlands in Hyderabad, Bangladesh in Chennai, and also Afghanistan in Chennai. So the next 3 games, Netherlands, Bangladesh, Afghanistan. You would fancy, or they will go in as favourites for all 3 of those games.
New Zealand 4-0, they're in. They're already in the semis now, New Zealand. Yeah, because what happens in the last game you see, which for us was last night, is what happens for the rest of the tournament.
Well, I'm just saying that like they are in a very strong position now, given they will want to win those next 3 games.
Yeah, and you might say they're in a strong position. On the other hand, they mightn't have 11 players. So there's, it's
yeah, but if the All Blacks got knocked out,
that's all right.
Pop into Hyderabad on the way back.
You did ask earlier if it is time to panic. It is, and also to crack each other's heads open and feast on the goo inside. Everyone plays everyone in this World Cup, but like not all games are equal. Like it's about as valuable a win as you can get because you've knocked off a top side, you've demolished them, you've had a net run rate explosion, you've imploded their net run rate, which then adds pressure and context to their subsequent games and for everybody else. So like if you can get an early thumping win and add like
an early thumper, what a way to give.
An early thumper and add some ladder pressure.
Right.
Then the subsequent games have got all sorts of different contexts, which is why I'm nervous about Sunday. Here we are going to England are in a little bit of trouble here. I'm looking at Australia strong. So I don't want to say too much. He goes, do you think the Jew was a factor? The DEW, that is.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
In Hollywood,
it's not the 36 unique Olympics. 34, I keep mixing it up. But do you think that was a factor? Do you agree with a number of people who are suggesting that because of how much better it is to bat under the dewy conditions of an Indian evening,
decimal position,
that instead captains should each get an envelope and a piece of A4 paper, write down the amount of runs they think batting second is worth, and then auction it off against each other before starting an academic decathlon and whatever the fuck other nonsense are saying. Do you think that's the only fair way now, rather than an actual 50-50 toss of the coin?
That's the only
to do it. And can VAR be involved?
Well, obviously, yes. Good process, lads. Well done. Yes, I do think that's the only way. I'm not. I mean, it's obviously too early to say how much the Jew is going to play a factor in the games. But if it's by the end of the weekend, if there's a pattern for me, I'm like, we don't need another World Cup with the toss to sides. I mean, I think you would. Is 50 overs each side long enough for teams to settle it out as opposed to the rawness of a T20 like it was in the UAE a couple of years ago? I'm not sure. I don't know.
No,
but it makes me worried.
No, I think you just want to win the toss. That's it. And then laugh at the luck that you've had. And if you don't win the toss, blame something else. Like a toss is a great thing. It's an excuse or something to be sardonically happy about.
All I want though, Pez, I just want Sachin on comms.
Yeah, now we talk.
I want Sachin Tendulkar on comms to tell me a story about when he had buckles on his pads.
Mate.
And how many bats he had in his kit. What? And I want that story to go for about 4 to 6 overs.
Fucking oath. I do want that. And I want him to be wearing the best fucking aviators I've ever seen.
Yes. Hold me, daddy.
He was in that commentary box and I felt like I was looking at a heavenly presence.
Right.
I felt so fucking safe.
Did you?
Seeing Sachin in that suit, looking resplendent, I think was the word Simon Dool used.
Yes.
Resplendent in that suit with those unbelievable aviators. I was all for it. People kind of sledging the dullness. Someone said putting the dull in Tendulkar. Horrendous line, by the way.
Nice.
Because he's talking about belt buckle pads, mate. I am 100% for that.
Yeah.
With his soft lilting voice, mate. That's me. That's me all night. There's no punchline to this.
Right, that's
I like that. That's just cricket. If Sachin Tendulkar is talking in the opening game of the World Cup with aviators on, not taking his sunnies off, about belt buckle pads, I'm home. I'm undoing a belt buckle. because I've had a big dinner. Oh, fuck, each to their own, man.
Oh,
each to their own.
what a treat. I mean, the World Cup is here, though, Pez. Are you here for the visual of the World Cup?
Yeah. I want to say something about the aesthetics. A lot of chat about crowds,
shot out there,
etc. I know we're like towards the end of the show here, but so on the crowds, and the aesthetics, a lot of chat online about whether there was, it was a shame there were so many empty seats early, initially, and later, given the size of the ground. I think first things first is like outside scrutiny of the hosts of any global tournament, any sport, is a tale as old as time. Like World Cup, football, Olympics, rugby, whatever. That's what happens. Opportunity for the host to show off the best of the country. India has so much beauty to show off with its people and its places. Steve Smith said the other day that India is now pretty much the home of cricket. I agree with him 100%. I think far fewer people would have seen India that way the last time they hosted a global tournament, 2011. So what I'm saying is naturally there's going to be scrutiny because it's just something that happens at the start of a tournament. People are going to look at how it's being run, etc. And people are also particularly interested now, accepting that India is the home of cricket, or whether they do or not, it is, about what their vision for the game is and how they're going to present the game back to the globe. And we're online. People are going to sledge some shit, right? I heard people correctly note that, one, there were very few people there because it was 35 degrees. It's a weekday, so people are working, and the ground is hard to access and stuff. But I tended to land where, like, Ravi Shastri landed, and I'll quote him. Athas said, "Do you think it's sensible a host should start? Because it guarantees a full house." And Shastri said, "Absolutely, especially on a ground like this. I understand you want one of the finalists to play or a former champion to play, but at all costs, you should have a home team play. If this was India or England, you're guaranteed a full house for at least 70 to 80,000 people, even on a working day. It just kicks off the tournament, gives it a buzz. There's a build-up." I think that's a reasonable criticism, and I think that, if I side with Ravi Shastri. So if you disagree with that, you disagree with Ravi Shastri. I think it's going to be a great World Cup. I'm prepared to, as England should with their tournament, bide our time. I think it could be excellent.
It's a long tournament, hashtag AskTGC. We need and want your hashtag AskTGC. So drop them in the comments below, and we will answer your question in the next episode, which is going to be tomorrow morning when we're reviewing Pakistan and the Netherlands. Is there an upset on the cards there? Can Pakistan do it? All right, hashtag AskTGC. Sam Freeman said, he screenshotted the scorecard and he just said, "At great cricketer, we've all been Will Young. Hashtag wasted Saturdays. Hashtag just got a good one." We're looking at the scorecard here. Devon Conway, 152. Number 3, Sachin Ravindra, 123. Will Young, 0 off 1. Caught down the leg side. What's Will Young saying in the dressing rooms, Pezza, afterwards?
It'll do a bit early.
If you've enjoyed the episode, why not hit the like button, click subscribe here, and get your hashtag AskTGCs in the comments. We'll be back tomorrow morning.